What's up, guys? It's Jamal here. Hope you're getting money how you can. Hope your day's been well so far. Um, I've been thinking of the power of discipline, and more importantly, the power of discipline as it relates to like creative pursuits. And when I was really thinking, is the fact that most people, when they think about like creativity, they don't really think of creativity as like something that could be learned and disciplined and practiced and endured. Most people think of creativity as this kind of flash in the pan spark or moment or a kind of creative um, inherent like talent or skill set that's kind of embodied within a specific person, but not as like something that could be like cultivated and learned and reared. And I used to be one of those people that thought that like creativity was just something you had, either you had it or you didn't have it. And it wasn't really until like I really took a mathematical, measured approach to building my creativity that I understood what it took to be creative and what it takes to have sustainable success for creative pursuits. And I'm going to tell you guys what it takes to be able to not only have a creative idea, but also like exercise creative execution by building good habits. And I kind of gave you guys a hint into like what it takes to be creative is building a good habit, right? When most people think of like creativity, they don't think of they think of like painting, they think of dancing, they think of drawing, they think of these kind of traditional forms or expressions of creative passion, and like for good reason, right? Like when we think of people that have like are able to contribute and treasure us with like a cultural artifact that stands the test of time, right? A lot of times we look at pieces of music, we look at bodies of work of art, whether it's an art piece, whether it's someone drawing, like I just said, whether it's a playwright, like William Shakespeare's like works, Michael Jackson. But I would wager that a creative artifact or a creative piece of work could be as a result of execution of discipline. For example, I think that when Michael Jordan goes up for a fadeaway shot in the post, that is creativity. That is a creative artistry in action. And it begs the question that I posed. How do you get to a level where you're able to exercise a level of creative execution like Michael Jordan, right? Let's make it even more simple. How do you make a jump shot in basketball? Let's make it even more simple. How do you make a layup in basketball? Right? All of these things are puzzle pieces and Lego blocks into the art piece of that creative execution, which is Michael Jordan's shooting a fadeaway shot. Those things could all be learned upon and iterated upon and built upon as part of that hobby or as part of that habit. If you want to get good at basketball, you're going to learn how to dribble the ball. If you want to get good at basketball, you're going to learn how to take a jump shot. You're going to learn how to dribble in the post. You're going to learn how to pass to a teammate, right? These are all things that you can check off on the pathway to being a basketball player, being skilled in basketball. The second part of this is a mathematical discipline for this creativity, right? So you're going to need to clock in or check in or do this creative act on a periodic basis, right? So whatever allocation of time that you have in your schedule, you're going to need to find the time to do that consistently, do that over time, and do it sustainably to the point where you're able to eventually say that this allocation of time on a daily basis is eventually something that is considered like a hobby or a habit, right? There's a famous expression that says it takes 21 days to build a great habit, and it takes approximately 1 month to 5 weeks to make that habit stick. So this period of habit formation, right? If you're playing basketball, you can start by dribbling every day, taking 100, 200 jump shots every day, right? And as you build this habit and cultivate this routine of practice of mathematical discipline towards this goal, you are going to be able to reap the fruits of this discipline or this endurance towards like your goal, right? Is being a better creative, or in this case, a better basketball player. And the reason why I use the concept of like playing basketball and the act of like seeing Michael Jordan in the post as like a creative artifact or a creative piece of work is because most people sign off and wave off the ability to be creative as something that's like not for them or not in the cards for them. They lack this like spiritual essence of being a creative. They think this, right? They think they lack this spiritual essence of being a creative, and they aren't able to participate in the tapestry of like creativity. And I think that's problematic. I think that's problematic for sure, because if you think like creativity is this like crown jewel that only certain people have access to, or certain people are able to touch and appreciate and kind of bend at the altar of, then essentially you're also saying that your career or whatever you do for work or for a living, if you aren't creative, is devoid of any like artistic joy or artistic kind of execution. And I think that's false, right? A lot of people for their day jobs, a lot of people for their career aren't working in areas or professions or trades that are getting the most out of their natural kind of creative juices and creative raw materials, right? So just because you're working in something, right? So for example, say like you're an Uber Eats worker, say you or lifting Amazon boxes, say you work in retail, right? You may be performing well at these jobs. You might not be performing well at these jobs. Point being, like, those areas of your performance could be the lowest common denominator of your creative talents and contributions and abilities. So those should not be used as a proxy or an estimation of your creative potential. You need to exercise a level of friction and mental endurance to take that journey and that path of figuring out what creative, of what being creative looks like for you. And that looks different for every person, right? Some people, creativity is going to be the traditional, splatter paint on a canvas, until on the other end of that looks like the Mona Lisa, right? That could be creative execution for one person. For someone else, like me, creative execution looks like training for a marathon. So if I have a marathon 7 months down the line, then me running more than a mile every day puts me on route and on track to be able to perform creatively by the time marathon day hits, right? That's what creativity looks like for me. The feeling and the catharsis of training for a marathon puts me in a flow state that is superior to when I don't run, right? There's a creative high that I get from running that makes me feel better off compared to when I don't run. And you're gonna need to figure out what that creative headspace is for you. It could be anything. You just need to open your mind into what that could potentially be.